This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. I'm Marek Mazurek. The director of the Animal Programs Division of the Indiana State Board of Animal Health says poultry producers across the state are looking at innovative ways to protect their flocks from the highly pathogenic avian influenza. Speaking on the Ag Bioscience podcast with Agronovis Indiana CEO Mitch Frazier, Dr. Kelly Wehrling said producers are putting biosecurity at the forefront and many are getting creative.
Some of our producers are actually using agricultural grade drones to spray disinfectant on the roofs of their barns because they're concerned about those wild birds migrating and spreading virus through the environment. And so if they can disinfect barns and then the water, if it rains, doesn't collect all of that virus and then somehow get entered into that barn and into that animal population, then they have been able to avoid potential introduction. So it's simple things like that you don't always think of.
Wehrling said every operation is different and that it takes a strategic assessment of on-site biosecurity in order to properly address avian flu concerns. A former printing press in Warsaw will officially become the new home of the Slate truck. After a week of unconfirmed reports, startup EV manufacturer Slate Auto confirmed it is bringing production of its flagship product to the former LCS Communications plant on the western edge of the Kosciuszko County city. In a release sent to multiple media outlets, Slate said it plans to bring over 2,000 jobs to the factory and that it hopes to start making the first Slate trucks at some point in 2026. The site has about 1.4 million square feet of space in the complex, which was first built in 1958 and was the longtime site of the printing press for R.R. Donnelley and Sons. Magazine and catalog printer LCS Communications acquired the plant in 2016 but closed it in 2023, laying off over 500 workers. As of Wednesday, it remains unclear what incentives Slate is getting from local and state governments. Slate bills its truck as a battery-powered pickup with a barebones design that buyers can customize with more than 100 features. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
To succeed, you need to stay informed. You need to be engaged. And let's face it, you need to set yourself apart from the rest by connecting with a company that brings you the best. Because in today's environment, business is an ever-moving target, and we'll help you chase it. IBJ Media. The best of business is in us. Get started at ibjmedia.com/youngprofessional.
The Indiana Economic Development Foundation has poured more than $13 million into travel, administrative, and other expenses across 6 years, according to audited financial reports released Wednesday under Governor Mike Braun's orders. The little-known foundation is charged with raising private funds to boost the controversial Indiana Economic Development Corporation, but the nonprofit is now on a spending freeze. The financial reports come after Governor Mike Braun has taken aim at the IEDF and the IEDC amid allegations of self-dealing and more. The newly released reports show the foundation spent $13.2 million from 2019 to 2024. The bulk of that, $10.9 million, went to travel, meals, and entertainment. Years' worth of news releases indicates that the foundation has paid for virtually all of the international economic development trips taken by prior governors. Another $1.8 million was logged for administrative expenses, plus more than $200,000 for sponsorships. The IEDC and the IEDF share the same staff and a 12-member board. Lafayette-based trailer manufacturer Wabash is reporting a first-quarter net income of $231 million, up from $18.2 million during the same period last year. However, CEO Brent Yagi said that the tariffs implemented by President Donald Trump are having an impact on the company's results, particularly as customers have reduced their capital expenditure plans. The company said net sales for the quarter totaled $381 million, a 26% decrease compared to a year prior. Revenue is also looking slightly worse than the outlook, which Yagi attributed to a general weakening in market conditions. He noted that as a result of the lower-than-expected revenue, the company has, quote, reduced direct labor to align cost with market conditions, end quote, though he did not specify how many, if any, jobs had been cut as a result. A spokesperson for Wabash did not respond to a request for more information from Inside Indiana Business on Wednesday. Ascension St. Vincent Carmel President Chad Dilley is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick presented by PNC. a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.